Hey, we're back and we are very excited. Tell them why, son.
Because we're making the world's greatest spaghetti today.
You may not do everything the way we do it, but if you take one or two pieces from it, it's going to level your spaghetti way up. Trust us.
By a lot.
We are going to be using a pound of regular sausage, a pound of hamburger meat, 80-20, one bell pepper, some tomato sauce.
But first, we're gonna chop and saute some garlic and onions.
First, we're going to open up our garlic. Get rid of all these. Chop this up. Then I'm gonna give the onions a little rough chop, and Aiden's gonna dice them up a little bit further. Remember to use your knuckles as a guide and keep the blade away from your fingers. You're gonna dice these up to your preferred thickness. We are gonna simmer this for a very long time, so they are probably just gonna dissolve away anyway. Next, we're gonna heat up some oil in a pan. We've got our Dutch oven pan that we're gonna do this in. And then we're gonna add our onions first, then garlic about a minute. First, we're gonna add our onions.
It's okay if you don't get all of them off.
Now give those a stir real quick, Aiden. Let that simmer for about a minute. Then add your garlic. Stir that up. Give that about another 30 seconds. Then we're going to add just the sausage first. First goes in the sausage. We're going to let this cook before we add the hamburger meat, just because this takes a little longer. Aiden's going to smash this all up and get it into small little chunks, and also stirring in his onions and stuff too. Now we're going to add our hamburger meat, and then we're going to do the same. Aiden's going to chop it up, stir it. Once we break this up a little bit, then we'll come back with our seasonings. Now that it's all broken up, now Aiden's gonna hit it with some seasoning. We're gonna start with a good amount of salt. And some pepper. And after that, some garlic powder. And now for secret number one, we're gonna put some red chili flakes. That's why we used regular sausage instead of Italian sausage or the hot sausage, is because we're doing it our own way. While that is browning, we're gonna chop up our bell pepper, cut them down each side like this. It'll make your lives much easier, and you'll have minimal of these little vein membrane things that you got to get rid of. Next, I'm going to cut them into some strips, and then Aiden's going to dice them up into some squares for us. You want to cut these into some small little squares, bite size. Remember, this way and down. You also want to save you some side pieces because Aiden likes to stop what he's doing and then eat one. Your fingers. There you go. Now we're gonna add our bell peppers. And you want to cook these down for a little bit. I'd say a minute, maybe 2. And then we're gonna add our sauce. As with everything, you are supposed to taste as you go. See if you need any more seasoning. What you think, eh?
Nothing, I say.
Now we add our sauce. Then we're gonna fill each can up with about this much water, swish it up, and add it to our sauce. All right, now the water. Stir this up, see how thick it is. See if we need more water. You don't want this too thin, but if it is a little thin, it's okay because we're gonna simmer it for quite some time and it's gonna reduce. My mom used to always do about 4 hours for spaghetti, but I know not everybody has that much time. We're gonna do this about an hour and a half at least. I'm gonna add a little bit more water. And then we're gonna come back with our seasoning. All right, next, here comes the seasoning. This is where the fun goes. We're gonna start with some salt.
I remembered when I tasted the meat, I thought it needed more salt, but then I remembered we add salt to the sauce. So
Next, we're gonna do some pepper.
put as much as you want.
Next, we're gonna hit it with some garlic powder, some Italian seasoning, and for all these next dry seasonings, you're gonna wanna put them in your hand first and crush them. Reason you're doing this is by crushing them, you're gonna release the oils and the flavors from these herbs quicker. Next, we're going with some oregano. And yes, I know that that's what is in Italian seasoning to begin with. We're just adding more. Now some basil. And 1 bay leaf. We're not gonna crush the bay leaf because we wanna keep that whole because we take it out later. Now I'm gonna just stir all this up. Now Aiden's gonna taste it, see what we need. What you think, son?
Some salt.
Need more salt? I agree. Now put your spoon down, go ahead and stir that up for us. Okay, we liked what we have it at. Now for secret number, is that 3? So yeah, secret number 3. We're gonna add some red wine. About a little less than maybe a shot, or if you're measuring, about an ounce. Notice I had Aiden taste this before I put this in. He'll taste it again in about a half hour after we let this simmer and the alcohol burns off or boils off. So Aiden caught me. Secret number 2 was crushing the dry herbs in your hand. Secret number 3 was adding the red wine. As this starts to simmer, we are going to cover this, reduce it down to low, and we will check back with this in about a half hour, and we're going to let it go for about a good hour and a half total, and then more fun starts later. All right, this has been simmering for about 45 minutes. We're going to check it. I'm going to lift the lid away from you because all this steam and stuff's going to come out and you do not want to burn yourself. Set this down. Give it a stir. Ooh, that looks lovely. Now we're gonna taste it, but when we get some, you're gonna have to blow on it. Because it's hot. Aiden, what do we think?
That's good. I want to try that again.
All right, we're gonna let this reduce and thicken up a little bit more, about another 30-45 minutes. And now we're gonna go make our own garlic butter for some garlic bread. First, we're gonna cut up our bread. We're gonna save these end pieces. I will show you why in a minute. We're gonna just get all this cut up. We got this all cut up. And why save the ends, you say? Well, why not? We come back to the sauce. How was that, boy?
Amazing!
First, we're gonna start with some butter. I don't know exactly how much. We're just gonna eyeball this to see that we have enough for all our pieces of bread. And if we have too much, I'm sure Aiden will take care of it. Now, first we're gonna start with some garlic powder. Then some Italian seasoning. And we stir that all up. So it's all nice and mixed.
I saved this piece of bread to put garlic butter on it.
All right, son, how was it?
Good.
Does it need anything?
No. Yes. Garlic powder.
A little more?
Yeah.
All right. I could tell it was good though, because it's still all over your face. Next, I got a large pizza pan. Use whatever kind of pan you want. I sprayed it with some cooking spray. I'm gonna arrange my bread to make sure we fit. And then I will butter them one at a time afterwards. These are gonna go in the oven about 400 degrees just till we toast them, and we'll be right back. Now we're gonna butter these. I'm gonna do these pretty lightly just to make sure we have enough of our garlic butter. And if we want to put extra at the end, we can. If not, I'm sure Aiden will just eat this raw.
Go.
Next is not so much a secret, but just an extra trick. We're gonna sprinkle some shredded cheese just a little bit on top. So we're gonna have some cheesy garlic bread. We are gonna put this in the oven about 5 minutes or so, right before everything's done. When the sauce is almost done, we're gonna do our noodles, which will take about 8 to 12 minutes. Now we got our oven preheated to 400 degrees for our bread, so we're gonna go ahead and start our noodles. Of course, the must, salt your water. It's not quite boiling yet, but we're gonna go ahead and put them in anyway. I don't put these in whole because me and Aiden, we cut our spaghetti anyway. So what I was taught is I break them in half. I lay this side that way, and then that way. That kind of That's one serving. Do this again and cross them. That way they won't stick as much. The amount of sauce we made is a lot, so I'm gonna make a lot of noodles.
Now that it started to boil, we're going to stir it all up. Everybody has their first time doing things. This is mine.
We're gonna put our bread in as our noodles are cooking. Both are gonna take about 10 minutes.
So while our noodles and bread are finishing, we're going to check our sauce and turn it off.
What do you think? Is that thick enough? Is that good?
Yeah.
All right. Turn off our sauce. Let it sit till the rest is done. Our noodles are done. We're gonna turn them off. I'm gonna remove them from the heat and take them to the sink and rinse them in cold water so they stop cooking, and then I'll bring them back to the stove.
After our noodles have cooled, we're going to spray them with olive oil so they don't stick.
And then just give them a couple stirs and go ahead and cover them until your bread finishes, and then we're good. Now it's time to take our bread out. And, oh, nice. Reason I do it in the oven is because it stays a little softer and doesn't crisp as much if I did it in the broiler. Here we go. There's our finished product. There's mine and Aiden's. I'm gonna add some Parmesan cheese. Piece of bread. There we have it. The world's greatest spaghetti. Trust us.